Looking to start a new life, but facing uncertain futures. A KPBS investigation reveals issues with the resettlement process that could leave refugees vulnerable.
Our good jobs in San Diego and our economy is literally at stake with some of these decisions that are going to be made in Washington.
Working with Mexico, not against it. San Diego co-hosts the first meeting of the U.S.-Mexico Border Mayors Association under the Trump administration.
On a good day, in an hour, we're cranking out 50,000 glasses.
And cashing in on a cosmic event, a look at the solar eclipse economy. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. The Trump administration says it's delaying construction of prototypes for a proposed border wall with Mexico because two companies objected to the bidding process. The work has now been pushed back to early November. This is the proposal from one of those two companies. Neither made it past the first round of bidding. As many as 10 prototypes could be built in Otay Mesa. This is the second delay in the construction that was supposed to start in June. In the meantime, the House has passed a $1.6 billion down payment for the wall, but that money still has to be approved by the Senate. In San Diego, Mayor Kevin Faulconer says he's for building bridges, not barriers, with Mexico. Today, he hosted a bi-national summit of 20 mayors from along the border to collaborate on things like trade and the environment. He spoke to KPBS Frontiers reporter Jean Guerrero about his effort.
In your view, why is the administration launching the border wall here in an area that already has a fence? Is it going to make a real difference?
You know, it's hard for me to answer that question. You'd have to ask the federal partners. But one of the things that we are stressing here in San Diego is we're talking about bridges that unite us. The fact that we are increasing our infrastructure, the fact that, literally on a cross-border express bridge is just an example. Our relationship with our friends in Tijuana, our relationship with Mexico is a strength of ours. And so that is why this conference is so important for us, important for me, to get mayors on both sides of the border. So as Washington is talking about policies, and in particular, potentially renegotiating NAFTA, that we talk about how important free trade is and why that's a benefit to both of our cities.
You talk about building bridges instead of walls. I wonder what this means given the national context. Is it fair to say that the mission that you have with Tijuana is in opposition to the president?
Our mission with Tijuana and our mission with all of the border mayors is to show what unites us, to show our strengths, and particularly how trade and free trade helps our cities. And something that I said earlier today as we kicked off the conference, if we're not telling our story of success, nobody's going to tell it for us. And so as these discussions take place in Washington, D.C., and you deal with representatives that, whose districts and states are thousands of miles away from the border, I think it's very important for us as border mayors to talk, to be leaders, to lead that conversation because our economy is at stake, the good quality jobs. Mexico is our #1 trading partner in San Diego. We've seen that increase in trade, threefold since NAFTA started. We want to grow that. We want to strengthen that. And that's why it's important for us as mayors to speak up.
And as you say, San Diego and Tijuana's economies are very entwined, and you have these integrated supply chains in aerospace and medical devices. And you're saying that these things have been great for the economy of the region. What do you say to the criticism that American jobs are being exported to Mexico?
We say that free trade is a success, and we've seen the jobs growth that has happened in San Diego. The fact that since NAFTA was done, our trade has increased threefold. The number of jobs that we've added, thousands of jobs that we've added. The fact that Mexico is our #1 trading partner in San Diego. Again, we have a success story, and we have data and numbers that back that up.
Do you think that your voices aren't being heard currently at a national level?
I think we need to speak louder. We need to speak more united. That's why I've hosted this conference here in San Diego. I intend to be very active, along with some of our other mayors, to be leaders on this issue. Our good jobs in San Diego and our economy is literally at stake with some of these decisions that are going to be made in Washington.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
San Diego's voter-approved pension reform, Proposition B, is going before the state Supreme Court. The court agreed to review the case initiated by the city's largest public employee union on Wednesday. Union lawyer Ann Smith says the court has a high bar for hearing cases.
It's very encouraging and so difficult to get review because of the number of petitioners who seek the high court's review on any given case. So we're delighted.
City officials say they didn't have to bargain over Prop B because it was a citizens' initiative. The measure eliminated guaranteed pensions for new city employees except police officers and replaced those benefits with 401k-style retirement plans. California's high-speed rail project cannot bypass the state's strict environmental review law. That's the ruling today from the state Supreme Court. The California High-Speed Rail Authority was hoping federal law would trump state law in the matter, but the decision ensures continued legal complications for the $64 billion project championed by Governor Brown. More Californians say they're in favor of the state's strict environmental laws at a time when federal officials are scaling back on environmental efforts. A new PPIC poll finds 70% of voters surveyed say they're in favor of laws that would get the state to 100% renewable energy by 2045. And many respondents from both parties say they favor California developing its own environmental policies separate from the federal government.
Issues, we always expect to see a gap between Democrats and Republicans, and certainly there is that. But something that we thought was interesting was that there actually is notable support among Republicans on some of these issues. 40% of Republicans say that the effects of global warming are happening now.
Pollsters surveyed more than 1,700 California voters earlier this month. A tragedy in Ohio leads to a shutdown in San Diego. Yesterday, an 18-year-old man was killed at the State Fair in Ohio when a roller coaster broke apart midair. 7 other riders were also injured. Gal OSHA estimates there are 6 of these coasters in California, including one in Belmont Park in Mission Beach called the Beach Blaster. Authorities say operators voluntarily shut it down pending an inspection. San Diego County resettled more refugees than any other region in the U.S. last year. The surge in refugees into a region with a high cost of living and a tight rental market may be taking a toll. A KPBS investigation found 3 refugee families who allege a resettlement agency staff encouraged them to falsify lease documents in order to find housing. In the first part of a 2-part series, KPBS City Heights reporter Taryn Minto digs into the issue.
Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Taryn.
For a month after he arrived to San Diego, Mohammed Abdullah says he lived in 2 motel rooms with his wife and 6 kids. He says he grew tired of it.
Our stay at the hotel became long. There was no choice for the organization, and we just wanted to leave but didn't know where to go.
The organization is the International Rescue Committee in San Diego. He says the IRC staff placed his Syrian family of 8 in the motel while they searched for a permanent place. The IRC is a local resettlement agency that uses federal funds to cover housing and other needs for up to 3 months after refugees arrive in the U.S. Abdullah says it took 35 days to find him an affordable 2-bedroom in El Cajon. He says he was happy with the space, but just before Abdullah went to sign the lease, he claims an IRC staffer stopped him and said not to show his family's U.S. government papers. The documents provided to KPBS identify all 8 members of his family by name, date of birth, and photo. But a review of his lease shows not all of them were listed on the rental document.
She told us not to show the IDs because we didn't register your full family. We registered 6 people, not 8.
He says the IRC staffer told him it was cheaper this way. But the move could also be breaking landlord rules and goes against federal occupancy guidelines that the IRC has said it follows. The government recommends 2 people per bedroom plus 2 additional occupants. That means only 6 people in a 2-bedroom. A family of 8 should be in a 3-bedroom. Abdullah signed the lease that lacked 2 of his children's names. The document says any occupants not disclosed could be considered a material violation.
At any moment, any minute, they can kick us out because of this lie. This is a serious matter.
A 5-month KPBS investigation found other refugee families living with more people in their apartment than appear on their lease, which is a potential deal breaker. 3 families claim IRC staff directed them to sign the inaccurate rental documents in order to get them into smaller and therefore cheaper apartments. The 3 families arrived late last year following a surge of refugees when new arrivals rose from an average about 250 a month in the early part of the year to 3 times that number by the fall. The IRC's San Diego affiliate declined an interview about these cases. But in an email, the local executive director denied his staff purposely omitted information on rental documents. He said their policy is to list all occupants on the lease. The IRC's national office sent KPBS a statement saying, in part, "We are concerned about these reports and are investigating the situation to establish the facts." The federal government gives agencies like the IRC about $1,000 per refugee to cover that person's basic needs for their first few months. Finding affordable housing in San Diego can be tough for any low-income resident, but particularly for refugees who arrived with no credit and may have large families. University of Chicago lecturer Jessica Darrow studies refugee resettlement. In a phone interview, she said resettlement staff may have just been doing the best they could with what they had.
If that's the only solution that the refugee resettlement worker thought they had to offer the refugee family, then we aren't giving these refugee resettlement workers enough resources to work with.
Darrow says although federal funds have slightly increased over the years, she claims they haven't kept up with needs. Her paper on resettlement in Chicago found caseworkers at one agency routinely sacrificed housing quality for affordability. Mohammed Abdullah says he's still worried he could get kicked out of his apartment at any time. If that happens, he's not sure what he would do. But there are community members out there who are helping.
If we can recognize refugees as an asset in our communities, then we develop welcoming communities, and many of these problems can be solved, I believe, by the community, as long as the government is equally invested.
Tomorrow, we'll introduce you to a family that was asked to leave their apartment and tell you how the community went about finding them a new home. Taryn Mento, KPBS News.
An apartment complex for formerly homeless seniors opened in the Talmadge neighborhood today. Talmadge Gateway has 60 units, community rooms for on-site services, and a computer lab. The nonprofit developer responsible for the project says it's the first project of its kind in San Diego, and that it's a permanent supportive housing community for seniors who have been homeless and have ongoing medical needs. The development cost about $20 million. Supportive services are being provided by St. Paul's PACE program. Summer is here, and that means lots of outdoor eating in San Diego, including from food trucks. And there's one new truck that has a special background. It's part of a nonprofit that trains people in culinary skills. KPBS reporter Claire Tragesser has more.
Welcome to Paving Great Futures, next level of the CHAMP program. This is our catering kitchen, downtown San Diego.
Armand King runs the nonprofit that trains hopeful restaurateurs.
You know, that's where a lot of our production will be.
He focuses on helping people learn how to not only cook and work in hospitality, but also start and run their own business.
I'm hoping the participants, the people that created this program, they just excel, they take it over, and they put me out of business.
King started a food truck called Flipper's Fish and Chicken that his students can run.
It's a really basic menu, but a lot of good, tasty items.
And his efforts just got a big boost. The charity Chef Works Cares just gave him a $25,000 grant to expand.
The grant money will help us get the well-needed equipment that we need to operate. They'll help us get the truck that we need to transport the equipment, to transport the participants. They helped us actually get the setup for the operation.
King grew up in Southeast San Diego and focuses on helping people with at-risk backgrounds.
Sometimes the people coming from neighborhoods that we come from, we're used to hearing people talk or might just hear ideas, but to actually see them fulfilled, it means a lot.
The grant is the biggest Chef Works Cares has ever given out. King says when the CEO visited his operation, he wasn't sure he was pleased.
He came down here to our kitchen and seen us and talked to us. He kind of was stone-facing us a little bit, being tough. And we were like, does he not like us? But then we finally broke through and he had that smile and he warmed up and it was great.
The truck made one appearance at the Four Corners of Life celebration in Southeast San Diego last month and will roll out to farmers markets and street fairs later this summer. Claire Tregesser, KPBS News.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, the Senate takes up a series of votes to determine the future of health care for tens of millions of Americans. That's Thursday on the PBS News Hour.
Cloudy skies and overcast conditions in some areas of the county. Erin Calandra has more in tonight's forecast.
We are seeing fewer showers and thunderstorms here in the county today and even tomorrow, but over the weekend we're going to see an uptick again in the deserts. Also in the mountains, here we saw just some clouds over the Pacific, but nothing really impacting San Diego County for now. Taking a look at a bigger picture, well, there's really not much going on here. A couple cloud coverage, as I said, right along the coast. Inland, though, in the Four Corners, we are seeing monsoon downpours, mainly in the evening hours. Our lows are still a bit above average, 70 degrees for tonight with increasing clouds, as we have most nights. They're going to be out of the way after breakfast time. So taking a look at tonight, clouds are building along the coast, 67 degrees in Oceanside, Ramona, 60 degrees, and inland here, Borrego Springs, 79, and Mount Laguna, 62 degrees. Here we are for Friday. It's going to be hot inland, triple digits. In the deserts along the coast, though, it's going to be much more pleasant, but the water is going to be dangerous here all along the coast in San Diego County. We do have some high surf advisories. Rip currents are going to be dangerous from Friday all the way through Tuesday, peaking on Sunday into Monday. So here we are tomorrow. Oceanside, 79 degrees, San Diego 77, Ramona nice and warm at 91 degrees, Alpine 89, Borrego Springs triple digits, and Mount Laguna 81 degrees. And again, fewer showers here in the mountains and deserts. Here's the 5-day for the coast. It's right around 80 degrees, humid, so it's going to feel warmer than that with plenty of sunshine. Again, be careful if you're heading to the beach this weekend. It's going to be dangerous. Inland, we are in the mid to upper 80s with plenty of sunshine for everyone all week long. And as we take a look at the mountains, well, it's going to be nice and cool, refreshing, really. We could see a thunderstorm Saturday, and then again on Monday. Other than that, just some sunshine, a couple of clouds. Mountains, triple digits the whole week long. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and also put on the sunblock if you plan on being in the deserts for any period of time. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
Medical marijuana has been illegal in California for more than 20 years. Last November, California voters approved legalizing recreational marijuana as well. State officials now have less than 6 months to craft new rules for everything from the sale to distribution of recreational pot. KQED's Thuy Vu spoke with Lori Ajax, who's leading the state's efforts to regulate the multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry.
Lori Ajax, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Prior to your current job, you worked at the agency responsible for regulating alcohol. How is this, regulating cannabis, different from regulating alcohol?
A big difference is that alcohol is federally legal, which cannabis is not. So some of the things that we take for granted that the federal government does when it comes to alcohol regulation, such as testing standards and labeling, the state is doing that itself for cannabis regulation.
You brought up the fact that cannabis is still illegal at the federal level. Do you worry about a possible crackdown? Attorney General Jeff Sessions has already said he's opposed to any attempts to legalize cannabis, even for medical use. Do you worry about a crackdown at the federal level, and how would that affect California?
So we worry about a lot of this stuff, but we feel pretty confident that as long as we're making sure we're keeping it out of the hands of minors, that we have public safety, consumer safety as the forefront of our regulations, and making sure that we're keeping making sure that things aren't going outside of the state. I think we're pretty confident that as long as we're keeping in line with that, that we won't have any federal intervention. But of course, it's something that is out of the control of the Bureau, so we focus on the things that we can control, which is putting together a model regulatory system for California.
Have you been looking at other states that have legalized recreational cannabis, looked at how they handled it, and applying some of the lessons learned there to California?
Yeah, we've been talking to a lot of the states that currently have either adult use or medical regulation legalized in their state and trying to look at what they did in their states and make sure we don't make the same mistakes in California. Colorado and Washington and Oregon, they were the first pioneers to do this, but I think we can learn from, strong regulations around manufactured goods such as edibles and whatnot. And also what Oregon has been going through with the testing labs and making sure we have enough testing labs in place to make sure that the cannabis will be tested and we know the product's going to be safe. So we're looking at all of those things. And I think we just have to be ready that once we get our regulations in place, they're finalized, we start issuing licenses. If things aren't working, then we got to look at, is there a better way to do things and a more efficient way to do things? So we want to keep bringing people in the regulated market and keep them here.
Because the industry is largely cash-based, what kinds of challenges does that propose for you in trying to regulate it?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation when the folks that you're regulating deal mainly in cash. So it's one of those things that it also is difficult for the licensees and making sure they're keeping their employees safe and trying to transport cash. So that is a big concern for the state on figuring out the banking issue. One thing that is right now is State Treasurer John Chung has a cannabis banking working group that we've been working together with him, with other the taxing agencies and the industry and the local representative to try to figure out a solution so that we can make our licensees, our employees safe and try to figure this banking issue out.
Most of the cannabis that's grown in California still ends up in the black market. Can you describe your agency's efforts to stop the growth of that black market, and how are you going about doing so?
Some of what we're looking at is having our track and trace system that the Department of Food and Agriculture will be developing that program. So all cannabis is going to have to be tracked from cultivation all the way to retail sale. Also, for the Bureau, once we issue those licenses, we've got to be out there doing our inspections, checking on licensees, and making sure people are following the rules.
You're trying to regulate an entirely new industry here, and an industry that has been underground, and much of it, very black market for so long.
It is a big task and a huge challenge, and I have a lot of great people that work for the Bureau, but we're also working with a lot of different agencies, Department of Public Health, Department of Food and Ag, you name it. But I'll tell you what, there are times when you start to think about the enormity and then you have these regulations here and people come out, they're really positive. Even though they might not like everything we put in regulations, it energizes the Bureau to keep going, and I'm really confident we're going to get this done and get it done right for California, because it's just so important for the people of California that we get this right.
All right. Lori Ajax, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Millions of eyes will be fixed on the sky when a total solar eclipse crosses the U.S. in August. AP reporter Stacey Playson says it's likely many of those eyes will be safely behind special glasses made by a Tennessee company, one of the businesses cashing in on the event.
Whoa. Millions of Americans will soon be wearing these special glasses as all eyes turn to the sky for a total solar eclipse on August 21st.
Pretty cool, right?
The eclipse will last less than 3 minutes. But one Tennessee company has been preparing for this moment for years. American Paper Optics specializes in making 3D glasses. But company president John Jarrett knew there would be a market for special eclipse glasses. The only safe way to view a solar eclipse is through special solar filters.
Oh, yeah, we got you.
It's why regular sunglasses aren't recommended.
2 years ago, we started preparing for it, first with the development of a website, eclipseglasses.com, and then starting to design different stock brands, then getting the word out to people that this is going to be a big opportunity for branding and marketing.
The company has already made 40 million glasses, with plans for another 10 million before the big event. That's when the moon will pass between the Earth and Sun, casting a shadow across the country. The path of totality, where there will be minutes of total darkness, will stretch from the Northwest and Oregon and dip down to South Carolina. Cities and towns in the path are gearing up for a boom in visitors. and business.
And we have people who are making all of these plans, coming all the way around the world just to come see the eclipse.
The Science Center is hosting 2 days of events ahead of the eclipse and will be the site of a wedding the morning of.
For us to have that shadow of the moon coming right over the Science Center here is a great resource for us. We can stay put, we can put on this massive event, reach so many more people that way.
Jarrett says his company is working hard to meet demand. They're one of 4 manufacturers that have certified their glasses meet international standards.
On a good day in an hour, we're cranking out 50,000 glasses.
The paper glasses cost about 25 cents to make and retail for roughly $2. Or more for the plastic version.
How much are they?
A small price for a glimpse at what is expected to be an unforgettable sight. Stacey Plaisance, The Associated Press.
Here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. On Morning Edition, Reducing Greenhouse Gases, a look at California's latest efforts to cut back on fossil fuels. And on Midday Edition, Combating Dangerous Diseases, the scientific breakthrough that may help scientists create better treatments. That's tomorrow at noon on KPBS Radio. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/Evening Edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.